Okay.
Welcome everyone. We will be starting the session in a couple of minutes.
Okay, so hello everyone. Good evening. I hope I am audible, and I hope everyone is well. And so, good evening. My name is Atman. A bit about me in a line. I am currently a third year computer science and engineering student at Ahmedabad University. I am also the Android Jams facilitator for GDSCAU and Programming Club this year. And I'll be taking you through your journey of Android development. As the name suggests, Android Study Jams. What are they? What is everything? We'll slowly dive into everything. And so welcome. And before we get started, I just wanted an understanding of how many of you are familiar with basics of coding? Let's say like writing for loops, writing conditional statements such as if and else, or you have some programming experience in say C, Python. So the thing is that we'll be going from scratch, from the very basics, so you have nothing to worry about. So just sit back and relax. Oh, okay, so that's great. I see many hands. You can also type in chat. Feel free to use the chat. Feel free to ask any question through the chat. Always understand that there is no question such as silly question or a wrong question. So feel free to ask your questions through the chat. So I think without wasting further time, let's get started. So once again, a good evening and a warm welcome from Programming Club and Google Developers Student Club, Ahmedabad University. Welcome to the first session of Android Study Jams. The session is titled as Introduction to Kotlin and the Basics of Android Development. In this session, we'll just look at the basics of Kotlin and also the basics of Android development. So what is Kotlin? What is Android development? If you don't know, or if you're not familiar with that, don't worry. This is the right place. You are in the right Zoom room. And welcome aboard to the journey. So yeah, welcome everyone. So okay, so what are Android Study Jams? So Android Study Jams are basically community organized student groups. It's an initiative by the Google Developers Student Clubs, where Google sort of promotes us to learn Android development together, to explore Android development, to explore its technologies, to explore its programming languages, do cool projects with it, and basically have fun in a month's period of time. So this time, the Android Study Jams is from 29th November 2021. It has already begun till 10th January of the next year. So, we all know that we had in SEMs, a lot of you have mid-SEMs, I guess, or will have some project submissions they had in early December. So that's why we couldn't start in early December, but now here we are. So moving on. What is Kotlin and what is Android development? So in just one line, I want to tell you that let us just look at our lives. If I look at my life, from the morning's alarm clock to the Zoom meeting after, to the Twitter memes, to the sharing Reddit memes, scrolling Instagram, watching reels, and texting everyone on WhatsApp, to the midday WhatsApp sessions such as कि यार assignment भेजना है यार, ये क्या आज रात को submission है, इसमें कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, तू मेरे को WhatsApp कर bro, तू मेरे को assignment है ना WhatsApp कर, to रात को YouTube पे time pass and what not. So apps are something, or technology is something that has been a very integral part of our day-to-day lives, and is shaping it in a very, very, very major way. From the morning we wake up to until we go to bed, mobiles and apps are something that we are very much surrounded. And as the name suggests, app development, or specifically we'll be looking at Android development, because this is Android Study Jam. So categorically, if I were to talk on a very large scale, app development is broken into two parts. One is iOS development and the other is Android development, because iOS and Android are the most famous operating systems or the most popularly and widely used. Almost 99% Androids in the world use either of these operating systems. So, okay, back to Android development. So we'll be looking at Android development through this course. And a very famous modern language is Kotlin. So Android development is heavily done in main two languages, Java and Kotlin. Well, it started with Java, and then in 2010, JetBrains, the company which has also the IntelliJ IDE. If you use this IDE, they have that IDE. So they have created Kotlin, they have written Kotlin. Kotlin is an expressive, statistically typed language. And there are many modern companies such as Swiggy, Zomato. These guys use Kotlin. Flipkart uses a lot of Kotlin, and there are a lot of developers of Flipkart who talk about the benefits of Kotlin. And so you might ask me, Atman, itne saalo se Java chal raha hai, from years we are using Java. Then why Kotlin? Why should I learn Kotlin? Why should I not learn Java? A lot of people know Java. Why Kotlin? So if I were to answer in a nutshell, Kotlin makes your work more concise and faster. So if I were to say that if I want something to be done in 10 to 20 lines, it will take me 10 to 20 lines of code in Java, while it just might take me 7 to 10 lines for Kotlin. So lot shorter. So that's one strong benefit of Kotlin. Yeah, so moving ahead. So let me just now talk about Android Study Jams, and let me just give you a basic idea of what Android Study Jams are, what the curriculum is. So basically, as I told you, Android Study Jam is an initiative by the Google Developer Student Clubs. So what are they saying? Okay, now there is this thing called Android Study Jams where we are sort of promoting Android development. And so they have a curriculum, they have a course. They have a course of 6 units. So they have a course which starts from very basic, from very scratch. Even if you don't know programming, even if you don't know anything about programming, that's fine. You are in the right place. So they start from there, and then they take you to the beginner and intermediate concepts of Android development. So if you're someone who is always confused कि यार क्या करना चाहिए, कोई कह रहा है web development करो, कोई कह रहा है Android development करो, कोई कह रहा है ये करो, कोई कह रहा है वो करो, there's also a competitive program, क्या करना चाहिए. So if you are someone who just wants to try out app development, if you are someone who is just that कि यार एक बार करके तो देखते क्या है उसमें, एक बार देखते तो है कि what exactly it is, then I think this is a very, very perfect beginning for you, perfect start for you, and a perfect place for you to explore. So we'll talk about the course in a minute or two in more depth, but yeah, moving on. So as I told you that there are 6 units. There are going to be 6 units, which are based on different topics, say introduction to Kotlin, then maybe they'll talk about layouts. And well, yeah, these are all heavy terms that I'm using right now, but basically the 6 units break up the entire course. And if you complete all the 6 units, that means that you are well versed with the basics of Android development, and you are moving towards the intermediate level. So what all are you going to learn in the 6 units is that you learn introduction to Kotlin, you learn how to build basic layouts, you learn how to add buttons. And by layout, what I mean is that a simple layout that you see on your screen when you open an app. So if I open Instagram, the very thing that first pops up is the feed, जहाँ पे सारे posts, and that's a very simple example of layout. That's a layout in a sense. So you'll learn how to get user input, you'll learn a lot of things. You'll learn navigation components, you'll learn how to navigate between screens, you will learn about the architecture, and you'll learn about how to display your data from the internet. Then you learn how to add a database to it. So okay, I know this must be very overwhelming, so just stay with me. Don't get overwhelmed that अरे ये SQL क्या है, ये architecture इसका क्या है ना, like how can I do it, or ये मेरे से होगा नहीं होगा. Don't worry, you don't have to worry about the end result. Just trust the process, and don't get overwhelmed or afraid that how can I do it. So what you'll need is, as I've written in the doc, as we have written in the doc, that so there's a doc that we had rolled out 2-3 days ago, where everything was given in detail. So basically you'll need Android Studio. Why Android Studio, you might ask, is that because Android Studio is the most famous IDE or integrated development environment that we use to code Android apps. And what is the benefit of Android Studio? Why not I use some different IDEs such as VS Code, or why not I use some different IDE? There are a lot of IDEs. So Android Studio is built by Google, and that Android is owned by Google. So that's a plus point. You can write Java, Kotlin very easily in Android Studio. And a very good thing about Android Studio is that it offers you a drag and drop kind of thing. Now, let's say if I were to add a button, I want to make a simple app, which when I click a button would give me a random number, say just SE. So if I want to just code it from scratch, I would have to code everything from line to line. Okay, this is a button I want, this is the position that I want it to be, this is how I want it to be connected with other things, so on and so forth. That is a very painstaking process, at least for me as a beginner. Even I'm learning on the journey. So Android Studio minimizes that effort. You can easily drag and drop things, and you can do a lot of things with Android Studio, which we're going to explore in today's session. So make sure you have Android Studio installed, and make sure you have a Google developer, you make a Google developer profile. So basically when you just log into the Kotlin course, to log in, you'll have to make a Google developer profile. So if you just start to log in, they'll tell you to make a Google developer profile, and you'll be redirected to the link. I've also pasted the Google developer profile link in the doc. So if you, so if you want to have a look at the doc and everything in detail. So Android Study Jam. So what Google has encouraged us to do is that, as I told you, right, that there is now a syllabus of 6 units, which teaches us Android development from the basics to an intermediate level. So what Google and the Developer Student Club is basically telling, so okay, now we have learned it, right? And knowledge can be acquired only through a lot of practical experience and sort of applying it. Right, just some abstract information in your head is not enough, right? If I just say, yeah, I know to write 2-3 lines of code, and that's not enough. They're saying that you have to apply it. You have to, once you apply, there's a lot more you can learn that you did not learn while just learning some syntax, or learning some programming language, or learning some technology. So the thing is that after you learn some basics of Android development, and you would want to do a nice project that you would also like to add on your resume, so maybe you can build an app. So as such, this is not a compulsion. Let me repeat, this part is not a compulsion, or none of it is a compulsion, but this is something that we highly encourage, because you get to learn a lot on the way. So there is no specific team size. You can build an app alone. You can do it in a pair of 3 to 4 people. You can do it in a pair of 2 people, or maybe just 3 people, but not more than 3-4. This is what we highly suggest, because we feel that then the importance of learning and the importance of doing things as a group together would dissolve if there's a larger group. So as I told you in the beginning, that Android Study Jams would end on 10th January. So just a day or two before that, we'll roll out a Google form asking for your app submissions, where we'll like, okay, if anyone of you has made an app, then you can submit in that Google form. And what is the benefit of making and submitting app is that we'll now pass on all the apps that were made to Google, and Google will then go through them, and Google will, if the team at Google of Android Study Jams likes one of the app, you'll get a chance to be showcased in one of the Google blogs or on their social media. So I think that is a pretty cool thing, and something that definitely you should try out. Yeah, so I talked a lot in detail about the process and everything, and you are asking, "Kya perks ka hai Atman? Like, what is this? I mean, just 6 units and this. Where are the perks?" So let me now talk about the perks. So the very first thing that you would get is that if you complete all the 6 units, then you'll get a certificate of completion, which I think is pretty cool, and it always might shine out on your LinkedIn profile. You never know. The second thing is that the badge. So I told you, right, that you'll have to make a Google developer profile. So after you complete every unit, or after you complete every task, a badge is automatically added in your Google developer profile, right? So these are the tracks that we talk about, and on the rightmost corner you can see badges. So if I hover my mouse here, there are different badges that you will get. So I think that stands out pretty cool on your Google developer profile. So when you're meeting your friends or whatever, and you want to just show your experience in Android development, a good way would be to show it with your Google developer profile, where you say, "Hey, this is what I've done, and look at my profile, I've got all these badges." The next perk is that you get to spend your winter productively. You get to make a cool project that you can add to your resume. And a decent project on your resume is never a bad thing. That's always a plus point. And other than that, yes, if you wish to make an app and you submit it to us, and if Google likes it, then obviously you get a chance to be featured in one of their blogs and on social media. So I think that's a pretty good perk too. So that was it about Android Study Jams and the structure. And before we get into anything, I'll just take a minute, and if you have any doubts, feel free to ask through the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, that would also be fine. And yeah, just ऐसा नहीं है कि ये it's some other lecture या कोई दूसरा lecture, ऐसा नहीं है. Everything is chill and everything is open. So I was not sure if everyone would be comfortable in Hindi or Gujarati, so that's why I'm sticking to English. But I'll be
switching
in a while, and I'll just be rotating through languages.
Atman, I think somebody has raised their hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Please go ahead. Ask your question.
Yeah. So my question is, like, how is this course paced? Like, is it a self-paced course, or is there a time limit for finishing every, section?
It's a self-paced course. Just the thing being that on 10th January, Android Study Jams finish. So basically you have to complete all the 6 units before 10th January. And the best part of the course is that it is self-paced, and Google has written really nice tutorials, and it's fun. So as I said, if you're someone who is just wants to try out Android development, this is something for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions? I mean, you guys can feel free to ask through chat, or maybe I think we can move on, and along the way, if you have any questions, feel free to stop me and ask your questions, or type it in the chat. Okay, yeah, that was a lot of talk and a lot of theory. So now let's get coding. So as also mentioned that this is a hands-on session, this is a hands-on workshop. So we'll be coding together. That's the fun of it. So I'll just stop sharing my screen and I'll share a new window in a second. Where yeah, so I've opened the link of the Android Studio Jam's course this year. So as you can see that there are 6 units. In unit 1, you'll learn the basics of Kotlin. Unit 2, you'll learn the layouts and navigation and connection to internet, data, work manager. So these are the 6 units. And it's self-paced. And I think that's a huge plus point because you get to do it as per your style of learning. And okay, so moving on, let's get coding. Let's start with Kotlin, and let's start with the very basics of Kotlin. So Kotlin, I cannot just open Android Studio and start typing Kotlin code, because Android Studio in a sense is not designed that way, right? So a lot of you must be writing C, a lot of you must be writing Python, and a lot of stuff like that. So let's take Dev C++ as an editor, or VS Code as an editor. So when I write C code, some code in C or Python, I compile it and then I run it, right? So Kotlin, Android Studio does not directly provide a compiler for Kotlin. So if I write some Kotlin code and if I just want to see what is its output on a terminal, that would be quite difficult. So as I also mentioned that the founder of Kotlin was the company JetBrains. They have this ID called IntelliJ. So if you are someone who uses the ID IntelliJ, Kotlin would run there. Otherwise, Google has provided us with a platform called Kotlin Playground. I'll share the link in the chat, and you all can open it in your browsers. It'll work on any browser. Mozilla. Oh, I think I sent it. Yeah, Ron, I think I don't have the access to send messages to everyone. So maybe one of you guys can, Ron, can you just share it with everyone? I've sent it to you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, right, precisely, this is it. So I'll just wait for 15-20 seconds or half a minute. Everyone just feel free to open the Kotlin Playground through your web browsers, and we'll code together. That'll be the fun part of it. So has everyone opened Kotlin Playground? Maybe you guys could type in the chat a yes or a no, or if someone is facing some difficulty, we'll help you out. Maybe a yes or no, if you guys have opened Kotlin Playground and are able to sort of access it. Yeah, thank you. And okay, cool. Then should we get started, or do you want me to wait for some more time until everyone is opening the playground? So Kotlin Playground is basically a virtual environment where we can run Kotlin provided by Google developers. And yeah. I hope everyone has opened Kotlin Playground, and let's start. So let's just start with the very basics. I know ये बहुत cliche है कि हर बार when we are starting to learn a programming language, we start with hello world, or we start with by learning how to print hello world. But I think that's the very basics, and that's a very simple way to understand how the language speaks to the computer, or how the language sort of writes itself, or how we interpret the language. So in Kotlin, you have to first mention your main function. So I cannot just type by writing anything, right? I cannot just start writing gibberish and things would run, right? No, I'll have to I'll have to write proper lines of code. I'll have to write it in proper places. Why do I need to have to do that? Because Kotlin understands that way. If I write certain things in a certain way, Kotlin understands it that way. So that's why. And that I think is true for a lot of programming or almost all programming languages out there. So Kotlin has this main function where Kotlin says that कि यार तुमको जो भी मेन या जो भी तुमको करना है, मेन तुम्हारा कोड का काम तुमको करना है, वो तुम इस मेन फंक्शन के अंदर करो. So how do I declare the main function? So you start by writing fun.main round brackets and this. So function is written as fun in Kotlin. Yeah, even I cracked up a little bit when I first saw that and I first read that. So fun is a function for it is the function for Kotlin and main. So that I'm saying that okay, I've created a main function because why? Kotlin says that कि आपको जो भी important आपका main code है वो आप एक function main के अंदर लिखो. तो अभी आपने कोई function main तो बनाना पड़ेगा ना. So now we have made a function main. Now we say कि okay, print hello world. So in Kotlin you write it as print. Okay, print ln hello world, and you write it in between two strings, right? Simple. The Kotlin, it is as if the Kotlin language is saying to the world, hello everyone. So, and you can see the green button in the right top. If I just press it, it'll run. So, voila, you have your output, printed hello world, right? So I hope everyone has, you try it out, take 30-40 seconds, try it out, and tell me if anyone is facing any errors or did not understand what we did here. Meanwhile, also, if you have any doubts, you can ask through chat, or maybe then we can proceed, right? I hope everyone has got this clear and it is fine that I'll move forward. I'm okay then, yeah, I'll move forward. So this was very simple. This was very simple, and you might ask कि जब हम apps code करते हैं, when I start coding apps, this is not what I'm going to do, right? I'm not just going to print stuff, right? So I'll say, yeah, you are right. So now we'll come to a thing called variable, right? What is a variable? Now let's suppose there is this thing, there is a substance that I want to use in a lot of different things, right? So for instance, when I'm cooking, right? Salt is something that we use in different things and so on and so forth, right? And so what the crux of the thing that I'm telling is that suppose a variable could be used in multiple places and multiple operations could be done for the variable. So let's say that I want to do addition. Let's say I want to do addition. So what will I do? So the variable in Kotlin is defined as val, V-A-L, val, right? So I want to do addition of two numbers, say number 1 and number 2. So I'll say, okay, I'll declare number 1. Declare. Then I'll declare number 2. So I'm telling Kotlin, Kotlin, listen, I want to do addition, and Kotlin is generally dumb. I mean, computer languages are dumb. If I want to do addition, I cannot just tell a computer language ki are 5 plus 5 ka answer de de. No, it doesn't work that way. I'll have to tell them ki where this 5 is coming from, where this 5 is, what the 5 is going into, so on and so forth, right? So now I've declared two variables, number 1 and number 2. Now you might ask, why have I written it that way? Why can't I just write instead of number 1 something such as 1? Or why can't I write something such as O? Well, I would say you could write that, but that's not a good programming practice. Why is it not a good programming practice? Is that suppose this is the code that you are writing. So you know that O is number 1 for you, But if you give it to, if you give the code for me to read, or you give it to someone else, you give it to a lay person, you would be pretty confused. Na, ki yaar, kya likha hai isne? O likha hai, iska matlab kya hai? So it is better that if you define variables in such way that even if a layman reading your code would understand, okay, what this variable is, what it does, and what it is declared for. This is generally considered good programming practice, and it might help you throughout any technical language that you are learning. So, and the form that I've written, it is called camel casing. That's a very famous style of declaring variables in such sense. Why camel casing? Because, you know, camels, they have humps. So that's why it is titled as camel casing. And as you can see, the number 1, so there is a bump in 1 because I've written O as capital. So that's camel casing. Okay. So now I've told Kotlin there are 2 variables, but I don't know what the variables are, what are the values are. So I'll tell Kotlin that, okay, my first variable is 5 and my second variable's value is 4. Right? My second variable's value is 4. And now I want to add these 2 numbers. So I'll create another variable called add. Right? I'll create another variable called add. And I'll say that add equals to number 1 plus number 2. Right? And now I want to print add. So I'll write print ln. So I cannot just write add. This wouldn't work. Or I cannot just write semicolon add. Right? This also wouldn't work. Why? Because as I told you, every language has a different style of interpreting things. So as they interpret things, we have to write that. So what Kotlin interprets is a $sign and the variable name add. A $sign and then the variable name add. So if I just run it, okay, it gave some error. I think I am doing some declaring mistake. Just a second, let me confirm. I think okay, yeah. So I've done a mistake, right? And as I told you guys, right, the it would be very difficult for Kotlin to understand whether this number 1 is an integer or, you know, what it is. We haven't specified that. So you have to specify that this is an integer and that this is an integer, right? And you can just, this is an extra line of code, so I can just erase it and I can say that the addition would be this, and then I would print this out. So let's see. Okay, I think I'm surely making a small error, and let me just confirm it with the code that I've written. And okay, so yeah, so I think there was some, I don't know, it's the pretty same code. Oh, okay, there was a semicolon error in the earlier code. Apologies for the error. There was some semicolon error. So the basic idea is that I declare a variable, and Kotlin doesn't understand what this variable is. Is it a number? Is it a word? Is it a letter? Meaning, is it an integer? Is it a string? Or is it something else? So I have to tell Kotlin, listen, calm down. So I want to add 2 numbers, first and second, right? So the first number, that's also an integer. The second number is also an integer, and they have these respective values. And I print the values after adding, right? And as I told you that if you want to print a variable, you print it using the $sign, right? I hope that this is clear. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask the doubts, or maybe we can move forward. Okay, then I guess we'll move forward. If you just want to also unmute yourself and ask a question, that's also completely fine. There is as such no restriction to that. So I hope the very basic of Kotlin is clear. And yeah, now let's look at.
So Atman, just one small question. So in the previous code, like here, would it still be required to, like, can you just do Control Z once?
Yeah.
So would it still be required to do that int, mention that it is an integer?
For some,
No, for val first int, like, is that int necessary?
yes. That int is necessary.
Okay.
So yeah, it is necessary. Sometimes what would happen that it would work, but then when we write more lengthy code, or when we go further into it, problems arise. So I think this is a good practice of writing code, and yeah, you should write that.
Yeah, so why don't we write that, the val sum?
Pardon, I couldn't.
No, I'm
Oh,
asking
okay.
that.
Why didn't we write for some? Yeah, right. So what Kotlin did here was that even I faced the same doubt, and from what I recall is that what Kotlin did, that it sort of it understood that that is going to be an integer, basically.
Yeah, that part I got it. So sometimes, if you want to typecast or it, you can just write anything else instead of that. For some.
Pardon, I'm not able to listen to you properly. So you are saying that why didn't I write some semicolon integer, right?
No, I'm just saying that here though it's by default understood that's an integer, right? But
Right.
if I want to typecast, I just write something after the sum like float or anything else with a colon.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, precisely. Yes.
So like, do we have to do the same thing when you're putting in a string?
Yeah. So if, let's say, let me just quickly do something for string. So let's say, technically you wouldn't also, let's say if I want to print my name is, and as I told you that if you want to print out a variable, you use a $sign. So I think it should. Yeah. So why didn't it do here? Because as I told you, Kotlin also sometimes understands that when something is in semicolon, it's a string, but it's always a good practice to write that, because as the code gets longer, as you write a lot of things together, then this is a good practice of writing things. But I think exactly I can read the documentation and get back to you at the earliest on this. That if it's a necessary that every time do we have to write it, I can get back to you on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So I hope things are a bit clear, and maybe we can move forward. So next is let's just look at if else. Let's just say that I declare a number 3, and okay. Yeah, so I declare a number 3, and I say that okay, what happened? I think okay. So I've declared a number 3, and I want to say that if number is greater than 4, then print hello.
Atman, I think you have pressed insert key on your keyboard, maybe. Right?
Yeah. I think I'm doing some error. Okay, sorry. And else you print by. Okay, I've done some, yeah, right. So basically this is simple if else condition where I'm just saying that, okay, so there's this number and I've given it an integer value of 3, right? And if I'm saying that if the number is greater than 4, print out hello, and if the number is less than 4, then you print out 3. So this number print out by. So this number is clearly less than 4, so it should print out by. Yeah, it did print out by, right? Is there indentation error in Kotlin just like Python? Sometimes yes. Yeah. Not exactly like Python, because you have curly brackets and everything in Kotlin. So Kotlin, in a sense, is just an sort of like an extended version of Java. Not exactly, but you can think on that sense, because Kotlin also uses the Java virtual machine as one of its major compilers. So it also runs on the Java virtual machine. So it might not have the same indentation errors just as Python, that, you know, if I'm declaring a function, then I need to go down and make sure that there's a tab or there are 4 to 5 spaces and then start writing. But it'll have its own indentation errors of its own, but not exactly like Python. I hope that sums it up. Yeah. So these are, in a nutshell, the pretty basics of Kotlin. And maybe on the way, when we get started with Android today, we'll learn more, we'll dive deep more, a little deeper into Kotlin. And maybe as you on your own start exploring and practicing, you'll get a more clear picture of what Kotlin is. But I hope that this gives a fair idea. One last thing that maybe we can do is, I think, I hope that this gives a fair idea of what Kotlin is, and maybe we can move forward. So there is also this thing in Kotlin that you can use functions. So let's say that I want something like this, right? I want to print out a happy birthday message for someone. And what I want to do is that sort of, I just want it to be, in the next line, I want to print happy birthday. And after that, again, I want to print the same thing. Right. So if I run this, a message like this would pop up. But what if I had to do this for a lot of time, or I had to do this at many places? If you think in terms of code, if I want to use a function in many places, or if I want to use a specific functionality, a specific thing, that this design pattern in many places. So it is a lot of painstaking process to always type the same thing, or, you know, you just, even if I just Control C and Control V, I copy paste it. It's also try pressing the okay. So that's a lot of pain there, right? So instead, what we can do is that we can also declare new functions, where I'm naming this function called void. I'm just naming it whatever I want, and I'm saying that this function has the capability to print this, right? So every time I call void, this should print. Every time I call void, this should print, right? You see, we get the exact same result, but we did it with the help of an external function from the main. So we understand that main is also a function in itself. The main is also a function in itself. It is this huge thing where Kotlin is saying कि आपका जो main code है, आपको जो main चीजें करनी है ना, वो आप इस main function के अंदर लिखो. But now, as I said, that मेरे को अगर कोई एक specific task, जैसे ये task था that I wanted to print this design multiple times, and हर बार वो copy paste करना या हर बार वो type करना, it's a lot of painstaking process, at least for me. And it's also not considered clean code, because just imagine this in a large scale term. You're building an app, and where you have a lot of codes, you have a lot of files, and you want to do a lot of things. And let's say there is a segment where you want to use a certain thing a lot of times. So you wouldn't always copy paste that. That's a bad way of writing code, right? So that's why you can use such functions, and then you can connect the functions with your central code. We'll look at that more in detail also today, but I hope till now some basics of Kotlin are clear, and maybe we can move to Android Studio. So should we move ahead, or is there a doubt Yeah, so perfect. Let's move ahead. I'll just close the playground and this for a while. Right. So, I request everyone to open Android Studio and create a new project. So if you are someone who is just opening Android Studio for the very first time, then you will get a box where it will say create a new project. Click on that. And if you're someone who has already used Android Studio or has used it once before, then go to file, go to file on the left top, go to new project, right? Go to new project. I hope everyone is here. Take few seconds. I'll wait for a while, because I understand that Android Studio takes up a lot of RAM and it might take a lot of time to just open Android Studio. So yeah. So once you click on new project, then Android says that, okay, Android Studio says that, okay, I understand that you want to make different types of apps, right? Someone wants the app which has integrated Google Maps. Someone wants this, someone wants that. So Android says that, okay, let me do one thing. Let me just make some templates for you. Let me just make some boiler code for you that'll just kickstart a journal that will help you in very small sense. So we'll use that, and everyone just select empty activity. Make sure that you select empty activity, not no activity or basic activity, empty activity. So I hope you have selected empty activity, and after that, click next. Click next. Something like this would pop up, and the first thing that it would say, that write your application name, right? What do you want your app to be called, and so on and so forth. So let me tell you what we'll be doing now. We'll be making a simple dice roller app, right? We will make an app where you can roll dice. Obviously, it won't have the 3D animation of the dice, but yeah, the dice would flip and numbers would flip. So that would take place. And so I want to name my application Dice Roller. So yeah, there I go. I go ahead and I name it Dice Roller, right? And below you can see there is something called package name. Don't touch it, because package name is a way for Android Studio to understand what exactly this app is, or what exactly the codes in here are going to do. Basically, it's a combined package of your entire app. So don't touch it, let it be that way. Now you have to select a location, so whatever is comfortable for you. So for I've created a different folder called Android Study Jams, where I'm creating one more folder called Dice Roller, where I wish to store, where I wish to save my app, right? So I've created that. So what I'll do is that in my Android Studio, I'll just locate that there. So okay, I think, yeah, here goes Android Studio, here goes Dice Roller. So I have located it there. And make sure, a very important step, that your language is Kotlin. There are two options in languages. Make sure it's Kotlin, right? Because we'll be coding it in Kotlin, and make sure that Kotlin is selected, right? I hope everyone is here with till now with me, and maybe if you want me to pause for more time, I can. But I think these are some basics that can be easily figured out. So after that, make sure that you have your minimum SDK selected. So you guys must have downloaded the latest version of Android Studio. So you might have a different minimum SDK, but yeah, in mine, it is 4.1 Jelly Bean, Android 4.1 Jelly Bean. Make sure that is selected. Why? Because that will just take up less of your RAM. So your laptop won't hang too much. And that's also a very perfect way of writing apps. So it is not that okay, if I write my app in this SDK, in a very old SDK, what if it doesn't work on my phone, or what if it doesn't work on modern phones? That's not big of an issue. So make sure you have minimum SDK selected, and make sure you have this use legacy Android support library unchecked, right? Mine is unchecked. I have not checked it. So make sure it's unchecked. That's very crucial. And once you have all this ready, then just click finish, right? Yeah, so there we go. It'll take time. It'll take a minute or two to load things. And I'll just close the extra one. Yeah. So as you can see, everything is processing. As you can see in the bottom, it says in blue that 2 processes are running. So let it run. It might take some time. It might take a minute or so. And it might take a minute or so for you. And I'll wait till then. And okay. Yeah. Give it time to run, give it time to process, give time for everything to open. And so once everything is open, it'll look something like this. And this might confuse you. Kya ye kya hai? What is this code? What are all these complex things that I see? There are a lot of options that I'm seeing above. It is showing that your path is not writable. Okay. So was it showing while you selected the folder to save your application, or after you did that, it was showing that? When was it showing?
It was showing when I tried to create a folder or tried to save my file in a particular folder.
Right. So have you installed SDK and the AVD manager? Have you installed that? Have you installed that? So, or no? Because I feel that you will have to install that. And after that also, it is saying that if your path is not writable, which basically means that there might be some error in file location you are specifying, or in some folder name maybe. But I think that install SDK and AVD manager first. That's an important step. I hope you have done that. If not, don't worry, do that. And in the main doc, the one shared, you can find detailed instructions there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So something like this pops up. You can see some boilerplate code. You can see a lot of files and folders on the left side. I'll just talk a bit about what they are, what they do. So these folders are basically each and every single file that is going to make up your final app, right? As you can see in the app, everything here is going to consist of your app, right? And below you can see a thing called Gradle scripts. Now, what is Gradle scripts? So Gradle, in a sense, is the compiler that Android Studio uses. So I write some code, I do some things. Now I want everything to be compiled. I want everything to run. I want everything to come into fruition, right? So Gradle will help me in doing that. So Gradle would then churn everything into the thing that you have done and would display it to that. Okay, Atman, here you go. This is what you have done so far. So that is the use of Gradle. So I think before we start writing some code, let's start designing some of the app. So let's say if I want to build a dice roller app, a very simple app, what I have in my mind is that a button where you'll just press the button and a dice would flip to a different number, right? This is what I have in my mind. Now, so how do you do that? So above you can see that a file called activity underscore main.xml is opened, right? Just click on that and something like this would come up. What it is, and I'll explain everything there. Could you just go through about the Android virtual device one? So what Android virtual device is that, so when installing Android Studio, you have to install 2 main things. One is SDK and one is AVD, that is your Android virtual device. So SDK is very necessary. Why? Because SDK makes sure that everything that you need to type your code and run your code, all the libraries and all tools are present. That is what SDK does. While AVD so Android Studio also has this thing that where you can run your app on a virtual mobile phone. So I've coded some app, I've created some app, and I want to run it on a mobile phone, right? So Android Studio provides you that facility to run it on a virtual app, but that takes up a lot of your RAM. And if you have a very good laptop, if you have a very good processor, then only I would suggest you to use AVD. Otherwise, as I've written in the doc, that you use USB debugging, meaning that you run the app on your phone. It's pretty simple. You take your USB cable, connect it with your computer, and the job of virtual device would now become the job of your phone. So I also talk about it later, but that was for AVD, right? So I'd suggest that if you have a good RAM and good processor, then only use AVD. Otherwise, it'll just freeze up your laptop. Okay, yeah, so moving on. I came to this place called activity_main XML. Why did I come here? What is this place? And why is everything, why can I see a blue rectangle, a white rectangle? What is all this? So as I told you, right, that before starting the app, I wanted to sort of design it. Before coding the app, I wanted to design it. I wanted to look into it, what it was. So what I did was that I went into activity_main XML. This is sort of where you're going to design your front end. So your app is going to have two things. One is your front end and one is your back end. Front end is how things are going to look. Back end is that how the interaction between those things are going to happen, right? So front end could be done here in the activity_main XML. Earlier, I also told that you can drag and drop things in Android Studio. So what is that? I'll tell you. So you can also where the location of the activity of main XML file is under this thing called resources. Can you see the small thing RES? So I'm toggling it. So you go to resources, you go to layout, and you can see the file's location. So we're stored in the layout. That means how your app is going to look, what is your UI going to be, how your user is going to interact with your app, right? So I'll just zoom in this a little. Okay. So now there are two panes here, right? And one might ask, what are these two things, right? One is a white thing and one is a blue thing. Activity_main is taking time to open up. Yeah. I told you, right? Everything would take time, a minute or two to open up. So, is it showing that the processes are running? Is it showing that your Gradle is running on the bottom row? Is it showing that? So as I mentioned, you have to let all the processes do their work. If you want, I can wait for a few seconds till everything is opening up. Until then, if you have any doubts, feel free to ask. Yeah, it's showing that. So you'll have to wait for all the processes to function, get over, for everything Gradle to get over. I think it might take 30-40 seconds the least, so more. So I'm moving at a pretty slow pace, so you'll catch up, I think. So when one opens activity, yeah, it's working now. Okay, cool. So when you open this thing, there are two things that, as I told you, see, right? One is a white thing and one is this blue thing. What are they? So white thing is where and how your app's layout is going to look. This is where you're going to do many things. This is where you're going to do multiple things. While the blue thing is the blueprint of it. So let's say there is a button and there is an image, right? So my UI will look like image and a button. And if I overlap with an image, one more image, then button and everything would be hidden. I will not be able to see that in the white one, but the blueprint, the blue one would show me that, okay, behind this image, there is also another image and button hiding. So blueprint, as the blue color also says, and as the name suggests, is the blueprint of whatever you're going to do. So if I zoom in very much, you can see that hello world, a small hello world is written here. And what all to do, what not to do, I'll tell you everything just in a detail. I'll just zoom out a little. Okay, zoomed out a lot. And whatever we are going to work with the white one. And as I told you that we wish to make a dice roller app. For that, I want a button and an image above. So whenever I click the button, the dice image flip. The image of the dice would flip, right? I want that. So how do I achieve that? Is that I want a button. So if you can see in the palette section in the left side, where there are a lot of things, there's a text view, there is a button, there is an image view, there is a recycler view, there is a fragment, there are a lot of things, right? So you see this thing called button. What you do is that you just drag it and you place it here, right? Just under hello world, just under hello world, you place it and you leave it, right? So something of a button came, right? Something of a button came, a lot of things popped up on the right side. No worries, we'll walk through what everything is. So after that, just make sure that you drag the button and sort of just send. Okay. And just sort of centralize the button here somewhere. Yeah. So I've centralized the button here. And I hope everyone is with me till here. If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask. So if you've got the button here you can see something called component tree. You can see something called component tree. So component tree is basically a tree which just says what all you are doing. So until now we have some text, right? Hello world. Then we have a button. So component tree just says that, okay, this is your app, your app's front end is a huge tree, right? It's a huge layout. And under that layout, you are doing following things, so on and so on and so forth, so on and so forth. You are doing the things, right? So under the component tree, we can see that it is showing me some error. If I click on the button, it is showing me some error, right? It is saying that the string is not hard coded. Okay, no worries. We'll deal with that later, right? We'll deal with that later. But our first and foremost priority is to centralize the button. Right now, the button is just placed, right? The button is just placed on a paper. So if this is a paper and if this is a button, for now, what I've done is that I've just dropped it on the paper. I haven't said that, okay, hey button, that you have to stick here. I've just dropped it on the paper. I haven't told the button that, okay, you have to stick here only. And how do I tell it to stick? I tell it to stick by fixing its position. And how do you do that? You go to the constraint widget. In the layout section, I'm toggling that. You go here. You go here in the constraint widget. And for the left and right, what you do is you just make sure that they are 0. Why 0? I'll tell you why. And right, so now exactly it is stuck in the center. This is your way of telling the button, it's your job now to stick in the center, right? And button is saying, okay, cool, I got it, I'll do that, right? And why did I enter 0, 0 here? Because I'm just basically telling the button that, listen button, I have dropped you in the center and I want you to stay there. So don't move towards your left or right. So I'm just telling it to not go 0 towards your right and not go 0 towards your left. I'm just telling the button basically that. Button to hill mat wahi rahe. So that's why I've typed 0, 0. And so now the button is done, right? The next thing that I want, what is the next thing that I want? The next thing that I want is an image. It's an image. I told you, right? I want to create an app where I click the button. I want it to, I want the image to change simultaneously, right? So, so the hello world that is written, the very small hello world is of our no use, right? It's of our no use. So what I'll do, I'll just delete it. I'll select it and I'll press delete. That's it. That it's gone, which is no use, right? We want an image और इन लोगों ने क्या hello world यहाँ डाल रखा है, so अपने काम करने दो, उसको निकाल दो naturally. Now, so since I'm making a dice app, I don't want this button to just say button. I mean, it's so, yeah, I mean, it's so out of taste, right? Sometimes. So what I'll do is that I'll tell it to say roll, right? Because I want to make a dice roller app. When the button is pressed, so when a user presses roll, the dice should roll, right? So that's why I'll make it say roll, right? And the next thing that I said that I wanted an image. I wanted an image. Now, how do I drag an image? Is that I'll just, from the image view, I'll just pick up an image and I'll drag and drop it here, right? As soon as I dragged and dropped it here, it opened up a window asking me to pick up a resource, asking me that, okay, you want an image, now pick which image you want. So I'll say that, I'm not sure, yeah, abhi mere ko dice ka dalna hai, kya dalna, I'm not sure. So what I'll do is that I'll just pick up a random image of, the avatars given here, right? You can see written avatar, right? I'll just pick that and I'll press OK. For now, I just have a random image and now I have a button, right? I have a random image and I have a button. So now my job is to also center the image. As I said, right? We have to fix the image also. What have we done here is that we have just dropped the image. I haven't told the image stick to where you are, don't move. I haven't told the image that yet. So I'll have to do that, right? So for doing that, what I'll do, I'll have to again go to the constraint widget. I'll again have to go to the constraint widget, do both the sections 0, telling it to just stay here. Then I'll also have to tell its height and width, right? What should be the height and width of the image? That is not decided yet. So for now, I'm entering a number and I'll explain you what the number is. Okay. Yeah, can you do once again to import the image? Okay, yeah, I'll again import the image. I'm deleting the image right now. The image is deleted. Now I want to import an image, right? How do I import the image? I select the image view and I drag that here. I drag an image here just above the button, right? Just above the button. And since I'm not sure that ki mere ko abhi kaun sa wahan pe photo dalna hai, kya karna hai, so abhi ke liye I'll just select a random photo, right? Random photo given to me. It will suddenly pop up a window asking me कि अरे अब तू image डालने की कोशिश कर रहा है ना, तो तू फटाफट फोटो भी डाल. तो मैं बोलूंगा कि यार अभी तो मेरा डिसाइड नहीं हुआ कौन सा फोटो डालना है, तो फिर व्हाट आई डू कि मैं एक रैंडम का कोई सा फोटो डाल दूंगा, राइट? एंड अभी मैंने क्या किया है, अभी मैंने सिर्फ इमेज को उस पर फेंका है, मैंने इमेज को फिक्स नहीं किया है. सो नाउ आई हैव टू फिक्स द इमेज. सो हाउ डू आई डू दैट इज दैट बोथ यहाँ लेफ्ट और राइट में मैं 0 कर देता हूँ. 0 क्यों? क्योंकि वी जस्ट डिस्कस्ड दैट विल मेक श्योर दैट द इमेज स्टेज फिक्स्ड इन द सेंटर, राइट? आजू बाजू का हो गया, अब ऊपर नीचे का तो बाकी रहा ना, ऊपर नीचे का भी जरूरी है. So for that, what I'll do is that in the layout section only, थोड़ा नीचे scroll करके, you get 2 options, layout width and layout height. So enter the layout width as 200 dp. Oh no, sorry. So there's a scroll button. When you click on it, it'll ask you 2 options, wrap content or 0 dp. So for now, let's select 0 dp, and then again it will ask you wrap content or 0 dp for the height. Select 0 dp. The image vanished. Why? Because I have minimized it. I've done everything 0 0, but मेरे को 0 तो नहीं चाहिए ना, मेरे को थोड़ा बड़ा image चाहिए. So what I'll do is that I'll make the width 200 dp, right? I've made the width 200 dp and I'll make the height say 160 dp. Now what is this dp? ये dp क्या है, right? Just a second, I think. Okay, yeah. So there's some overlap. We'll resolve what the overlap is, but I'll just explain you what is dp. So dp is just a unit of measurement in Android Studio. It is titled as density pixels, right? So basically you just get to allot how many pixels do you want it to be and how many pixels you don't want it to be, right? So I've done that. And okay, yeah, so there's some problem in the height. So I think we'll have to reduce the height, or we'll have to set a constraint that कि तू बटन पे ओवरलैप मत कर, ये तू ऐसे बटन पे ओवरलैप कर रहा है इमेज, ऐसा कैसा चलेगा? So what you do is that you just set some constraint. You click the below thing so that it will understand, okay, I have to distance myself away from the button. It'll do that, right? I hope so far this much is clear, and maybe we can move ahead. We can move a little further. Okay, yeah. So let's move further, and now let's write the code. Right. अभी हमने basic जो अपने को चाहिए था. What we wanted? We want an app where we had an image and a button. So whenever I click the button, the dice should flip. So I've created a basic front end for that. Now comes the main part. I have to program it, right? I have to program it. That's the main part. So how do I program it? Let's get to programming. There is this file called main-activity.kt. Make sure you go to that file. Main-activity.kt would be open. Make sure you go to that file. And after going to that file, you'll find some lines in gibberish. You won't understand what that is, right? You will say, "Kya likha hai? What is this class? What is main activity? What is this?" So don't worry, don't panic. Along the way, you'll understand what it is. But in a sense, this is just a boilerplate to get things started, right? To get things started, to get your app started, right? So what I'm doing here is that just say Kotlin में एक main function आपने नहीं design लिखते थे, we just wrote, okay, fun main, and then write all your main things here. So same way here we have created a class. Now what is the difference between a class and a function? So a class is a specific thing, while a function is used to do a specific thing. So now if I'm making a dice roller app, a dice is a specific thing. So a class of dice can be made out. A class of dice could be made because it's a specific thing, right? So on and so forth. Because a dice has multiple things. A dice would have sides, it would have numbers, it would have this, it would have that. So I have different properties. So that's why making it a specific thing. So that's why I can create a class out of it, right? So now let's get coding. So the very first thing that I want to do is that I want to tell my code कि हाँ इसमें ना बटन जैसी कोई चीज है और इसमें है ना इमेज जैसी कोई चीज है. ठीक है, इसमें कोई बटन जैसी चीज है और मेरे को उससे कुछ करवाना है. So I'll declare a variable for it. How we declare variable? Val, the sign to declare the variable, and I'll give it a name of roll button, and I'll tell it that you have to. I'll tell Kotlin that okay, it's a button, and you have to find. Okay, what? Okay, I think this should resolve it. Yeah. So what I've done here is that I have just told Kotlin that I have a button, and you just locate the button through an ID, because I'll have to tell Kotlin, right, where the button is or what the button is. I'll have to tell my backend, and it doesn't understand that. If I just tell it कि हाँ कोई एक button है, it won't understand. I'll have to tell it. So how do I tell it? Is that I write r dot id dot button, right? Now why did I write this? Why did I write r dot id dot button? Why did I write r dot id dot button? Because I'm just telling Kotlin कि हाँ ये एक button है और उसकी id भी button है. You just go find it. This is where you will understand what the button is. And how did I know कि मेरे को id ये button लिखनी है? So if I go back here again, in the activity main wala part, and if I click on the button, in the topmost part, you can see ID. You can see a small thing of ID written as button, right? So that's why I understood that my ID is button. So that's why I could tell the code कि एक button है, ठीक है, जिसका identification card, जिसको तो identify करेगा इस चीज से, वो है, right? So now our program knows that there is a button, right? Now program knows there is a button. Now I want my app to perform in such a way that if I click on the button, it'll reflect a dice, it'll randomize the dice, so on and so forth. I wanted to do that. So how will I do that? So I do that by telling Kotlin or by telling Android Studio कि जब ये जो रोल बटन करके जो चीज है उसको मैं क्लिक करूंगा ना, तो तू मेरे लिए कुछ चीज कर, ठीक है? आई एम टेलिंग बिकॉज बटन तो बन गया अब, एंड what does R refer in the r.id.button? So I don't know what exactly it refers, but it is a way of writing a certain identification. But I think if there is a full form or something, I'll get back to you on that what R refers to it. But it's just a form of writing that you just say that r.id. But no, I'll get back to you on that what R exactly means. So I hope that makes it clear. And okay, yeah, so moving on. Now I have made a button, right? And now I want to tell the backend कि जब ये button click हो ना तब कुछ होना चाहिए. So that's why I'm writing कि जब ये roll button करके ये जो variable है ना, इसको अगर तुम click करोगे ना तो कुछ चीज होनी चाहिए. और क्या होना चाहिए? मेरा dice roll होना चाहिए. My dice should roll, right? So I'll just define a new function here, roll dice. ये क्या है? What is this? I don't know it, but I just want my dice to roll. So what I'm essentially doing here is that I'm defining a function, right? और Android Studio ने तुरंत कुछ error दे दिया और वो कह रहा है, Android Studio is trying to say कि what is this roll dice? I don't understand what you're writing, right? If you're saying it's a function, then create a function, na? Or let me create that function for you, right? Or let me create that function for you. So you just click this thing called create function roll dice, right? So what it'll do is that it'll create a function for you. और अब इस फंक्शन में अपने को जो करना है ना अपने कर पाएंगे, ठीक है? अब इस फंक्शन के थ्रू मेरे को डाइस, आई वांट टू मेक माय डाइस रोल, but before that this program, it doesn't know what the dice is, right? It doesn't know, right? I haven't told it what the dice is. I haven't told it that a dice has 6 sides. I haven't told it that a dice will perform in such a sense, right? And as I told you that a dice is a specific thing, we can create a new class for dice. So that's why we'll create a new class for dice. So I'll write class. I'll write class dice, right? And then I'll say कि ऊपर ये जो मैंने private, okay, so one more thing, that why was private function roll dice created here, right? Why was it created private automatically by Android Studio? So what Android Studio essentially wants to say is that कि हमने private इसको, why we have created it, because it can directly refer only, it can be only accessed and it can be only referred by this thing on line number 15. On line number 15, it can only be referred by line number 15. So that's why private function was created, that it can be only referred by, or it can, or essentially only by this class, right? So that's why here I have to write, I'll say private, and I've created a class of dice, a functional class of dice, where I'm just saying कि इस class में है ना मैं ये लिख पाऊंगा कि dice के कितने sides है, ठीक है? एक dice, general dice 6 side का होता है, but क्या पता someone comes with a pentagon for a dice, so it'll have more sides. Someone comes with a 3D pyramids or a pyramid shape for a dice, so we never know what the dice is, right? So we'll just have to generalize something कि हाँ डाइस करके चीज होगी और उसमें कुछ साइड होंगे. अपने तो स्टैंडर्ड यूज करते हैं, so we'll enter it as 6, but we cannot assume, right? So that's why we'll make a generalized thing, and वहां पे हम बोलेंगे कि इस डाइस को है ना तुमको घुमाना है, सिर्फ इस डाइस का काम है अलग अलग नंबर्स देना, अलग अलग घूमना. तो मैं उसके अंदर और एक फंक्शन मतलब टास्क, अब मैं आई हैव क्रिएटेड अ क्लास वेयर आई एम जस्ट सेइंग दैट ओके देयर इज दिस थिंग कॉल्ड डाइस, बट आई डोंट नो व्हाट इट डज. The computer doesn't know what it does. It just knows कि हाँ डाइस करके कोई चीज बना के रख के गया ये, or it doesn't, computer doesn't know what it does. So I'll tell the computer ki are Android Studio soon, now this will, you'll have to make it roll. So I'll write a function roll, and as I told you that it's always good to initialize, tell the function that what it is going to speak, that so if the dice is rolling, and it'll only give out numbers, right, whether 1 2 3 4 5 6 so on and so forth. So that's why I know that it's an integer, so that's why I've written it as an integer, and it's always a good practice to write that. So I'm saying कि इसमें ना तू एक काम कर, तू मेरे को है ना 1 से लेके whatever the number of sides a die has, you give me that in random form. So when I roll a die in real life, what happens is that it is always random, right? Once I roll it, I'll get 6. Once I roll it, I'll get 4. Once I roll it, I'll get 3. I'm always not sure what the number is, right? So that's why here I'm telling that I've made this thing a class called dice, right? And where I'm just saying, okay, I've made this thing called dice, and इसमें मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ कि dice को है ना एक काम करना है, और dice का काम क्या है? Random घूमना. तो उसको मेरे को specific काम देना है. That's why I made a function where I told the dice roll. And why have I return one dot num sides dot random? What is this line number 27, right? It is just a form of saying in Kotlin कि जो काम तेरे को दिया है ना रोल का, फंक्शन रोल, इसको the work that I've given you is basically just कि 1 से लेके जितनी साइड्स होंगे dice of 6 sides, and you're going to take that. But if it says कि नहीं मेरे dice में तो so that's why I'm saying कि 1 से लेके जितने भी sides हो ना उसके तू मेरे को random ये देना. And okay, so yeah, so yeah, I understand that it's almost you know, we are running a little late, but I think we are almost at the end stages. So just stay with me for 5 more minutes and I think we'll be done with the app. So so far so good. Has everyone understood so far, right?
Atman,
Yeah.
could you repeat the last part? I think you were bit not audible.
Okay. So is my voice better now? And
Yes. Now it is
yeah,
better.
so do you want me to repeat line number 27, this part where I initiated the class and everything, or is that clear?
I think that was clear. I think.
Okay, yeah. Okay, then though I spoke nothing, I just explained it in a bit depth that what exactly it is. So moving on, now what we want to do is that कि हमने ऊपर तो बटन को बोल दिया कि बटन भाई साहब listen, when I click on you, you roll the dice, right? You roll the dice and the rolling of the dice should do something. So what the rolling of the dice should do is that the rolling of the dice would first say कि okay, मेरे को dice roll करना है, but कौन सा dice है वो? I don't know which dice is that, right? I don't know which dice is that, right? So okay, I'll have to tell it, ठीक है, एक नया वेरिएबल बना ले dice करके, और वहां पे ना मैंने एक क्लास ही बनाया था डाइस का अलग. I had created a different dice itself, right? And I'll give you that, ठीक है? I'll give you that. और ये मेरा डाइस है ना 6 साइड का ही है, ठीक है? मेरा डाइस जो है ना 6 साइड का ही है, और मेरे को और कोई झंझट चाहिए नहीं, मेरे को 6 साइड वाला ही चाहिए. तो वो ठीक है, 6 साइड वाला डाइस मिल गया. The next thing that we want to do is that now we want to tell this thing to roll. We want to tell it to roll, right? अब तक तो उसको बोला नहीं है that you have to roll button. When the button is clicked, we have to tell it to roll, right? So what I'm doing essentially here is that I'm creating a new variable that I have to roll the dice, and I'm telling it that the dice that you have created will roll. I understand ये बहुत tricky है, ये we are diving into object oriented programming और यहाँ पे कुछ ऊपर नीचे हो रहा है, but I think just focus that एक dice है, एक button है, when I click the button, the dice should roll. Okay, so I'll just pause here for a minute and now we'll go back to the design again, right? Now we'll go back to the design again. Why did we pause here? Because now we are telling the dice to roll. So essentially we are telling the image to flip. Essentially we are telling it to do things, right? So I'll quickly share a link, and from there you can download the images of the dice. Okay, just a second. Okay, I think. Yeah. So I have pasted it in the chat. So you can just download the links. You can download the images of the dice from here. You will be able to download the images of dice from here, right? So once you have downloaded those images, so I'll just wait for half a minute or so for you to download the images. A zip folder would be downloaded, right? And when you download the images, I have already downloaded the images. So when you download the images, if you extract the zip folder, you'll find out that, okay, I have these 6 images. Now I quickly want to import all these 6 images into my app, right? So how do I do that? So watch this step carefully, that yahan pe there is a thing called resource manager, right? Just below project, there is a thing called resource manager. Click on resource manager. Click on resource manager and this thing would open up, right? Resource manager would just tell me कि आपको जो resources चाहिए ना वो आप provide करो. So मेरे को images के resources चाहिए, so I'm providing that. So click on the top left corner plus and import all the drawables. Import all the images. Right? These are my images. I'll just select them. I'll select them and I'll click OK. Right, so all my images are now imported, and I'll click next and import. So that means that I have now all the images in the app. All the images are in the Android Studio, but they are yet to be connected to the app, right? They are yet to be connected to the app. So now resource manager was open. So I just now click project, the tab above it, to come back to my app. And if you go in this folder called RES, right, in the drawable section, you can find all your images. In the drawable section, you can find all your images. Now I want to connect all my images to my app. So how do I do that? So the thing is, first thing is that you select this image. यहाँ पे तो आपने कोई भी एक image डाल दिया था, just for the sake of it, but I want dice images. So I just connect it. I'll just click here. I'll just click here. And in the SRC compact part, I'll just select click on the image here, the small image here, right? If you click on the image, you get an option to select your images. So randomly select any one image, that would work. So I'll just randomly select any one image, that would work, right? I've randomly selected one image, and still it is giving me some error, right? This is giving me some warning. This is giving me some error, right? That it is telling me that your constraints are you have not set your constraints properly, meaning that I have not positioned my button with respect to the image. So यहाँ पे जो vertical horizontal है, I'll just select that and okay, and maybe just give it something of a value of I think. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay. Yeah. Right. So I've positioned my these things. Still, it is giving me some error, and in the error, it is saying that you have not hard coded your strings. So I don't want to dive much deep into the details, because then we'll have to go a little more into details. But a way to solve this error is that you go to code, right? You can see in the rightmost corners, you can see two things: design and code. You go to code, and here basically आपने जो भी front end drag and drop किया है ना, उसका code is written here. All the code is written here. So I'm where am I getting here error? I was getting a warning here. So I just select that and I just do whatever it asks me to do, right? And I'll just do whatever it asks me to ask. It is asking me to do. Here also it is asking me to do one thing, and I'll just do it, right? For now, just do it, right? So that is done. The images are linked. Now I have to write the code to link the images, right? So I understand that we are running a short on time. So I'll just quickly, I have the code written with me. So I'll just quickly, paste it in so that, and then explain you the code so that we save time and it doesn't take much time. So okay, yeah. So I've just pasted 5-6 lines of code. That's simple. Only I've pasted this much, and I'll explain you what this is. So now we have an image, we have a button. Above we told the Android Studio कि button जैसी कोई चीज है, आप उसको refer करो. Here also we are telling Android Studio same thing कि image जैसी कोई चीज है and you refer the image. Image जैसी कोई चीज है and you refer the image, right? And ये image ID कहाँ से पता चला? Save पे. I click on the image. Okay, but here it is written as the ID is image view 2. So I'll just have to quickly make those corrections. So my ID is image view 2, right? Now the error is gone. So ये ID कहाँ से पता चला? I went here, I clicked on the image and I saw the ID, right? So, and then I said कि जब dice, ये जो नीचे dice है ना, ये one roll करेगा ना, तब you display image number 1 on the app. You display image number 2 on the app, then you display image number 3, agar 3 ho to, so on and so forth. Bas, I'm just telling it to do that. And in line 37, I'm telling it कि ये जो display हो रहा है ना, make sure कि वो सारा display हो रहा है. In a sense, I'm pushing everything. Final cut, push करके, pack करके, I'm pushing things. Okay, I've pushed it. There you go. Everything is being displayed, right? So don't worry if you have not understood some parts of the code. The video recording will also be shared. I'll also share my notes with you. And when you do the units of the Android study exams, you will go through this again. So that will be a plus point. So now we have basically, we are done coding our app, right? Now all we have to do is test it. Chal raha hai ki nahi, right? So fingers crossed for that. So the first thing that you have to do is you have to build your app. Right, you have to basically whatever is written, you have to ask Android Studio to build it. Basically, Android Studio will just read each and every line and it will understand, okay, what he has written is making sense or not, code wise. So how do I build my app? You go above in the build part, in the menu bar above, and you just click on make project, right? So as you can see, it is building. We give it 30 seconds for it to build. And meanwhile, as I told you, right, there are two things on how you can run your app. One is Android Studio will provide a virtual mobile phone, which won't work on mine because everything hangs. So I'll use my phone itself. So what I'll do is that I'll connect my phone to the laptop through a USB cable. And after the connection, so, okay, so our build here is successful. It has written build successful. That means that there was no error in the code. Everything that we have written is right code wise. Okay. So now the build is successful, right? So, okay. So now I want to run it. Just last step. We have 30 seconds after that. This will be over. And so how do I run it? Is that here above you can see that my phone's Redmi Note 8 is written, right? So I am telling it कि Redmi Note 8 में run करो, run करना है तो आप इसके virtual device में मत करो. I don't want that. I want the app to run on my Redmi Note. So I have done that. I'll just finally check if everything, if there are, okay, this is a hard part. Okay, and I'll just now run it. So I'll just show you guys. So it is taking, it will run, it is running. See below, you can see it's loading install. So, okay. Yeah. So I'll just quickly show it to you guys. Okay, can you see my phone? Can anyone just give a thumbs up or raise hand if they can see my phone? and the dice and the button?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yeah. So if so, I'll just share stop sharing my screen, and maybe things would be seen better. So yeah, as you can see, you won't be able to see exactly the number because I understand I'm doing it this way. But now if I press the button, the number flips. If I press the button, the number flips. So I know the light is a lot and the contrast, you cannot see it properly. But if you tried this on your own, I'll share the code, I'll share the session recording. And if you maybe try it on your own, this is something that you could do. So this is just a simple dice app that we have. So a button, I'm pressing it and it is flipping. 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 4, 6, 5, so on and so forth. So that was about it. That was session 1. I know we are a bit over time, and but don't worry if you did not understand a lot of code, or if you're just too confused ki ye yaar ye kahan se kahan ja raha hai, you know, kabhi ye khol rahe kabhi wo khol rahe. It is completely normal, and don't worry, you'll figure things out on your way. Explore it, do the tracks. This was a part of the track, and we did it because it will help you in completing the tracks in a more faster and easier way. So do the tracks, and if you have any doubts, feel free to ask now. Or there is also a WhatsApp group. Be sure to join the WhatsApp group. You can interact with there. And as I told you, right, there's no question as a wrong or false question. No one's going to judge you, right? So also for installation guides and everything about the program, we'll also share the PPT that I showed today. And there is obviously a doc that, you know, everything is written there. So yeah. So I think that was about it from our side, and we reached to the end of session 1. Thank you everyone for staying. If you have some doubts, please do feel free to ask now, or you know, thank you. The next session is planned on 21st. The timing is not decided yet, but we'll send out an email and send out WhatsApp messages for the timing.
Yes.
Can you share the screenshots of the codes in the WhatsApp group? Yeah. I'll share an entire document. I have written notes. I'll share an document where the code is available. Where code is available step by step, a lot of things are available, and so you can refer that also. And we will do that by today evening maximum, so that yeah, a doc recording everything and everything. So I have created proper written step by step. That will be so I think, yeah, that's about it from our side. Thank you guys for staying. I know it's almost an hour and 40 minutes. Yep. Thank you everyone.